It's Sunday again, and it's Sunday TCSN Live, the Collective Social Network. Erica Graham, Adam Bryan, and we're here with Brian Abrahamson, who is running for Senate 22A in Minnesota, right?
I'm actually going to be running for Congress.
Oh, you are running for Congress. That's what I thought, and then I saw that. Okay, Congress. That's what threw me for a loop.
Yeah,
so you're running for Congress.
First Congressional District.
And that's what you changed. So last time you ran for the 22A Senate. I knew you switched it up. You're still an independent.
Yep.
It was awesome. All right. So tell me a little bit about maybe yourself, what happened last time, and what's going to be different this time.
Well, look, I guess a little bit about myself. I'm a direct support professional, or what other people would call maybe a CNA, or a certified nurse's assistant. I take care of people that have disabilities, that are elderly and stuff like that. I take care of people that have dementia and a wide range of different things.
Sweet.
I ran for Minnesota State House last election. I didn't quite make the primary. I was probably like 170 or so votes away from that.
Remember that.
It was very, very close.
Oh, I remember that. That was tight. Oh, it was heartbreaking.
It was, yeah.
But hey, you learned a lot.
I did. I think what's going to happen differently is it's going to be one at doors. It's going to take a lot of time, and we have about over 200,000 people to reach, and I think we're gonna do it. We have plenty of time now. The weather's getting better, so we're gonna get out there and do it.
Sweet.
Wonderful. Thanks for stepping up to the plate.
You bet. I think like I was telling you guys, the representation that we have right now is very very Trump-like, and that's not what we need here in this district.
Right. So he's a Trump guy?
Oh yeah.
Hardcore Republican, yeah. Oh man. So what are you going to do to stand out above the rest?
I'm going to hit healthcare hard. I'm going to basically we need a Medicare for all. We need to get that out to everybody. I mean, it's becoming more and more acceptable, and it's becoming more and more wanted. So I mean, we have to go out there and be loud and proud about it.
So in your profession, you must be able to see where all the strengths and weaknesses in the current healthcare system are. So aside from can you give some more examples of what you would like to do with? I mean, I understand the Medicare for all or healthcare for all, but can you get any more specific on areas that you feel need to change within the healthcare system?
Well, I mean, Medicare is a great program. Most of the people that I work with are on Medicare, and it works great for them. They get the care that they need, which is wonderful. But I believe that everybody needs.
I understand the Medicare for all or healthcare for all.
Oh shoot!
But can you get any more specific?
Sorry.
Oops.
That was my fault.
Sorry, but continue on. Yeah, you were saying that everybody should have access. Oh, I did have a quick question though. Do you feel like the people who do have Medicare are getting adequate care?
I believe that it could be a lot better. I believe that like I said, the people that I take care of are getting the care that they need, as far as I can see. But I mean, it needs to be better. The healthcare needs to be better. We need to get insurance companies out of there and stop funding them and making sure that everybody gets the care that they need.
Sure. Right.
What was that question you were asking about, Erica? You had the question you were telling me about his plan for infrastructure, or?
Oh yeah, well that's another topic that I thought we could touch on when we're finished with healthcare. Or we can move to that right now.
Oh no, go ahead, keep going.
Yeah, which with healthcare or
yeah, sure.
Okay, so where you are right now, do you run into people who do not have healthcare? Is it a major problem?
I believe that there's probably a few thousand people that are uninsured right now, just in my district alone. I mean, it's a widespread issue here in Minnesota overall, but I know in my district there's thousands of people that don't have health care at all.
Wow. Okay. Right. So if they need to go to the hospital, they're walking away with exuberant bills, huh?
Yeah, either that or they don't go at all.
Or they don't go when they need the care, right? I really feel like we're at a place, like we're such an advanced country, and the fact that so many of our citizens don't have health care is just a disgrace.
It is.
I mean, there's something wrong with that picture, and obviously, I think it has a lot to do with corruption or whatever, but it's definitely something that all of us really need to work on. And it seems like the grassroots movement in our country, like that's one of the one of the forefront issues is making sure that we all have proper health care, that it's a human right,
Absolutely. Yeah.
So, but thank you. So thank you for stepping up for your fellow Minnesotans.
You bet.
Yeah. One thing, when I was reading a little bit about you this morning, one thing that caught my attention was your interest in infrastructure for water and transportation, and improving the infrastructure in a sustainable, more sustainable, green manner. Can you talk about that, please?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'll touch on infrastructure first. Basically, there's plans even in our state that were approved like 50 years ago, but never been appropriated any funds to. I mean, we have to get those things done. Our roads and bridges are literally crumbling right now. So we definitely have to work on that. We definitely need to get stuff done, not only in Minnesota, but all over the nation.
Yes, I agree.
And basically, as far as water, I mean, there are a lot of places in Minnesota right now that have just about as bad water as Flint, or they're talking about places in South Carolina yesterday that really had bad quality water and stuff like that. So I mean, we need to. I mean, water is our life source right now. We need water. We need clean water for our families and everything like that. So.
Right. Yeah, that's clean water. It's pretty sad that we have to talk about trying to get clean water in America today.
I know when I first moved to Minnesota, the water quality was really bad. I mean, I still don't even drink it anymore. I mean, we got hooked up to what they call the Lewis and Clark water project. Our water is a lot cleaner, but when we first moved in, we had probably the worst water in town. It was very bad.
Wow, that's totally unacceptable.
Yeah, and even in our area, one of my nephews unfortunately had cancer because of the water. So.
Whoa!
I'm sorry to hear that.
Wow! Just been drinking the tap water.
So he's cancer free now. So actually, they're twins. They're not twins, but they're pretty close to their age. And they both had cancer, and they both beat it. So.
Oh, well, that's positive. At least they beat it.
That's great. I'm happy to hear that. Who are some of the contributors to the water issue there? Are there power plants or factories that are who are the number one contributors to the water pollution in your area?
The factory farms, probably.
Factory farms, okay.
Yeah, that use the Monsanto and stuff like that gets into our water. We definitely have to take care of that as well.
All
So
right.
pesticides, herbicides, or actual waste from, is it like cattle waste, or is it the chemicals?
I would probably say more specifically, probably like the phosphates and stuff from the
Sure, nitrogen,
from
phosphates, yeah.
And then glyphosate, which is now the big main thing. And that's so you got a lot of Monsanto corn up there.
Oh yeah, I mean all over the state.
Oh God, it's so toxic. I mean, just the whole process of growing that, and it's a monocrop, and that's just unsustainable in and of itself.
Right in there,
The
yeah.
amount of chemicals required for a monocrop is just exuberant, and that's another challenge. Though, how do we convince farmers who are really just trying to make a living and get by? How do we convince them that there's other profitable, more sustainable ways of going about it? And how much does it cost to switch over? I mean, it's...
Well, the thing is, farmers don't really they don't want it. They don't know how to get away from it.
Right. Because right now, a lot of those farmers up there, are they dealing with the whole farm thing because of Trump? And they're literally like on socialism, the government is taking care of them. So they grow that corn.
It doesn't even reach the people that actually need the money. I mean, people are dropping, farmers out here are dropping like flies. They're going out of business. They're basically, they're literally almost pretty much dying out here. So it's bad.
So that's a lot of your territory you're going to be covering to knock doors and stuff is going to be out there in the rural farmlands and stuff. Oh yeah. I used to sell Ruby vacuum cleaners and talk to those people, and they're really good American, good people. It doesn't matter if they're Republican or Democrat or anything. They're hard workers, and they just stuck. We've trapped them in this thing, and it's expensive equipment, everything. So how can you talk to them? If like we're the farmers, how can you convince these guys that we can change? How can they change, and how can you convince them that you've got a better road for them?
Basically, we just have to maybe do some research and try to find what other means we can go on. Besides Monsanto, I mean, we can possibly even talk about growing hemp and stuff like that. It's more and more acceptable to grow hemp and stuff. And
that's a great answer.
One thing I would really love to see is, the cotton production is huge in this country as well, and it requires a lot of pesticides. And I would really love to see a little bit more of a transition from cotton into hemp, especially for our fibers, for clothing and whatnot. Because again, it's a little bit more of sustainable than our traditional, cotton. But one thing I also wanted to mention too, when you were talking about farmers dropping like flies, one thing I was reading some articles probably about a year ago suggesting that the suicide rate for farmers has just skyrocketed.
I'm saying that basically they're literally dying out here.
Literally
dropping like flies. Damn.
It's a real thing. It's a real problem, and our country really relies on those farmers more so than your average American would even think about or even consider. So it kind of just like breaks my heart. I feel like they're underappreciated and they're not getting the help that they need and or the resources and
they're not getting the health care that they need either.
Oh
yeah, and they're not getting their help, right?
And the chemicals are in their water supply,
right?
It's all just like right there, and flies are dropping like literally they're dropping like flies, and then you got the bugs dropping like flies because of the way they genetically modify some of that stuff to be glyphosate resistant. So you've got fields of dead. That's all it is.
Yeah, and
awesome.
And the Republican state Senate, in their infinite wisdom, they tried to pass what they call like co-insurance for the farmers, which is going to be running out, and it's going to be running out very soon. So what are they going to do now? I mean,
right.
So could you do something like this? Here's a question or suggestion. Could you write some bill and to where if people decide to switch over to hemp from corn, you would subsidize them, tax breaks, incentives to say, listen, if I win, I will make sure that you can make the transition from hemp to corn very, very easy.
Absolutely. I mean, I suggested that when I was running for Minnesota State House. So, nice. and actually for Senate when I ran for Senate, 4 years ago. So.
Right. Oh, that's me again. I'm all over the place today.
One thing that I was thinking, just like even as a step prior to writing a bill, and I'm totally like, I've never run for, I don't really know the ins and outs of any of this. So I'm just like thinking as we're talking here, of like maybe forming like a panel, like a team, to do a little bit, to do some research first, right. And like pinpoint our sources of pollution, like do some research on like hemp is great, but we need some more than just hemp. So like, what are some other like sustainable crops that can turn a profit? Maybe like forming a panel first.
Yeah.
Like a team.
Well, I have a really good friend. I have a really good friend that's actually doing stuff like that. They're trying to come up with like a rotation of crops that will kind of help the earth and stuff like that, and make land a little bit more sustainable and stuff like that.
What else do they grow?
Well, with that, you could also like get compost, like do like some type of composting program where farmers get free compost that instead of relying so much on chemicals, they can start treating their soil with free compost. Like, so I don't know. I'm just throwing thoughts out
do it into like a whole, not horticulture, but with the opposite of monoculture.
A polyculture.
There you go. What other crops do they grow up there in large amounts besides corn?
Soybeans?
Soybeans, yeah.
That's not a good answer.
Not a good answer.
No, we got it, because that's GMO Monsanto shit too.
Yep.
If you even try to grow organic soy up there, you're not going to be able to pull it off.
A lot of farmers that I talk to, they don't want to go into like what's called the cover crop stuff like that. And I mean, we just need to keep on them basically, and tell them this is the way that we can make your job easier, basically.
Yes, that's how you, right, and healthier for them and their families.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like wrapping it in. You could do your own Green New Deal up there where you're doing the health care for the farmers that ties in with if they change their crops into a rotation type crop, polyculture, and then tax breaks, and then you could really get a lot of farmers on your side with that. Well,
and then you could use that template, and like other states could, like if it works, then it could be used in other, it could be shared with other counties, other states,
And I know that it works, and basically like the research that I got from the person I'm working with on it, it works pretty well. So I mean, we just have to keep at it and get the word out, basically.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That brings me to a question. So what about your team? Have you started recruiting team members? Do you have canvassers to knock doors? What's the deal with that situation?
Well, I mean, I just kind of started the campaign not too long ago. I'm trying to get people on board and stuff like that, and it's kind of slow going, but I mean, we'll get there. I mean, we do need a lot of help. We do need the canvassers. I need to get staff. I need to get volunteers and stuff like that. That will come with time. Like I said, the weather's getting nicer, so it's about time to go out to the bigger towns like Mankato and Worthington and stuff like that. And
where are you located in the state? Like, which city are you in?
I'm in a small town called Laverne. It's over on the southwest corner. Almost, we're closer to Sioux Falls than pretty much anything. Sioux Falls, South Dakota. That's where actually I work right now.
Oh, you're actually near South Dakota.
Yeah.
Ah, okay.
Extreme corner of the state.
Oh. Well, what's the population of your district?
In the district is probably about 300,000, something like that.
Okay. Okay.
And about 250,000 voters. So.
Okay.
Great. Well, also, think of ways that Adam and I can help you,
Right.
From a distance, obviously.
Yeah.
Because we're happy to help your cause and help you, win.
Yeah.
We'd like to help you win. So.
Yeah.
I've run for office before, but I've never run for Congress. I mean, it's a big ordeal. It is a big undertaking, and I need as help as I can get.
So
is it just you right now in the whole race?
What's that?
Are there other people have announced to run, or there's another Republican? Is there any other Democrats, or is it just you?
I think they're going to have a Democratic endorsement probably next year around this time or something like that. But I think the person who won the nomination last year in the Democratic Party is collecting money very slowly, but he's out campaigning and saying, "Oh, I'll see you next year" and stuff like that. So I'm imagining that he's going to run again.
Okay, now here's a question I got to ask you, which I'm sure you're going to hear all the time. How do you tell people when they say you're going to steal the votes from the Democrat? You're the third party. You could be the bad guy, painted as a bad guy. You're going to go out there and take those Republican votes that might vote for the Democrat, and you're going to ruin it for the Democrat that you're running.
Well, I mean, basically, this district is very independent, a lot more independent than what the Democrats and the Republicans want and even think about. So, I mean, I think I'm going to bring voters out to vote, and I'm going to I am going to probably sway a lot of Republicans and a lot of Democrats. But I'm in it to win it. I'm not going to, try to cut votes. I'm going to try to get votes, and I'm going to work hard to get them.
Wonderful.
Cool. Now, would you be willing to ever, this is just all question, would you be willing to, let's say we get the game going and it's getting close and you could tap out and send your people over to the Democrats to take out the Republican, and then, but only under certain deals. You can turn that Democrat, say, hey, look, I'll only do this if you back Medicare for all. Is the Democrat backing Medicare for all?
I don't think he did last election.
Ugh.
He might this go around though, because it is quite a popular. I mean, a lot of Democrats seem to be getting on board with the healthcare for all.
Yeah, I'm thinking that I'll probably drag the DCCC candidate a little bit further to the left than he wants to be, but it might happen that way. I don't know.
All right. I mean, there's a million ways to win in this world today. Just by you running, we're getting win points,
Yes, totally.
Getting the word out, getting the change, getting the farmers to realize that they shouldn't be voting Republican. I don't understand how that happened, but these farmers that keep voting Republican are not, they've been duped. If you're a farmer and you're voting Republican, you've been duped.
Yeah.
If you're like any ordinary American citizen and you're voting Republican, you're getting duped. I mean, I don't care.
Good point.
It's unfortunate. People don't realize it, but they need people like you, Brian. I guarantee that farmers will listen to you. They'll hear what you have to say, and hopefully believe you. I mean, chances are they probably will believe you.
And I basically got a lot of response from the farmers when I ran for both Minnesota State Senate and for House. I mean, a lot of people voted for me in the primaries last election, and I mean,
yeah, you know what? I had forgotten how close you got. You got really close there at the end.
And if you could get a big farm, like even just one or two big name farmers to endorse you,
there you go.
That would be
huge. Get some endorsements from the farmers.
because then all the others, maybe smaller farm, I'm sure it's a pretty tight network.
Yeah.
The farming industry there. I'm excited for you. I am. I think that
well, I'm excited.
Definitely on the right path, and One thing can I just a little bit off topic, but how did you get into politics? Like, did you like run for student government when you were a kid? Like, how is this like what, like where, how did it come about for you? I mean, I know like you said that you're like in the healthcare, profession, and but what made you decide you wanted to get political?
Sure. I mean, I was raised in Iowa, so I was an independent in Iowa. I was very, I mean, wasn't very political at all. I basically kind of just dropped out of politics until about, I would say about 2015-ish, somewhere around there. And I heard of this guy named Bernie Sanders, and it was all kind of just started from there, basically.
Awesome.
Like, burn.
I wondered.
Yeah.
I wondered. It seems like he has inspired countless Americans.
Yes. I mean, yes,
I had a feeling, but I wasn't sure. But I figured I'd better ask.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's me too. I mean, before Bernie, it wasn't just Bernie, because I think Bernie came in at the same time as the internet. So we've got two huge factors. Because before the internet, it was hopeless. There was no way anybody could ever do what we're doing today without the internet. We can barely do it now when we got the internet. They're taking that away from us daily. So what would you say about that? Like, how can you use some of this stuff to move forward with your campaign? The internet, technology, some things we've got now that we haven't had before to ensure you will win.
Well, I basically look forward to making videos, doing different kind of commercials, like videos and stuff like that for my campaign. I mean, it's definitely not going to be one online. It's going to be one ultimately, yes. But we do need that supplement also. We need to let people know that we're here and that we care about everybody. I mean, that's what we're running for. So
yeah, I have always said that you can't win with the internet. You can only win by knocking doors. It's still at this stage. I think in 20 years down the road, no one will be knocking doors. You won't even go on anyone's property, but that'll be cyberspace. But right now, we're not there. But what you can do is find people to knock doors.
Yeah.
That's the thing the internet's for, getting your campaign together. Then you can go hit the streets or the road.
Yeah, absolutely. You have to have like one-on-one, like in-person conversations with people.
Yeah.
Make those connections, like the physical in-person connections. It's very important.
Definitely.
I did have another question and it just escaped my mind.
Well, we've touched on the Medicare for all. We basically touched on the Green New Deal because that's kind of around your whole campaign. What about the school thing? Bernie comes out. We're talking about charter schools. He wants to defund the charter schools. And we got Betsy DeVos, who is destroying the public school system on a daily. How's things up there with your public schools? How's education going up there in public?
Basically, since we've had a Republican-led Senate here, like state wise, anyways. Basically, they are really hitting the charter schools pretty hard, and it's very sad. So
we got the same issue here.
A lot less funding for public schools, a lot more funding for charter schools, and then it's a disaster.
That's terrible.
Mm-hmm. Who has access to the charter schools? The children, what students have access to the charter schools?
I guess I don't really even know.
Well, what's your demographic? Is it mainly white up there anyway?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's probably mainly all white. So you just got the lower class, which it's really not a race thing. It's more of a class war. What's going on?
More of a class thing, yeah.
But then it is race when you break it down because of history and how we've developed the classes. It's a racist in the classes.
Yeah, so, I mean, we have a small demographic of a few, like Mexican Somalian and stuff like that here in this area too. But I mean, it's very small, but
So that's another, but you still work towards that, not just to help those people, because we need to build those people up for our whole country, but also to get those people. You'd probably be easily able to get those people's votes.
yeah, I mean, we definitely have to work on getting the path to citizenship, because there's a lot of people, even like 30 miles away, that are getting deported and stuff like that. I mean, it's definitely a big issue, and it's very sad to see.
So you got ICE up there? Oh.
Yeah.
Are you about abolishing ICE? What's your deal with ICE?
I mean, it's, as long as we don't have anything to replace it with, I guess I'm not sure if once we come up with an idea to replace, some kind of something like that, I don't think we can abolish it. We can't just, we need something to go behind it, basically.
Right.
Right. But I mean, there's not even that many people up there. Why do you need ICE?
Yeah.
I mean, it seems like you should just let them.
So are a lot of the immigrants working on the are they seasonal farm workers, or?
I believe that they're mostly farmers, and they work on like dairy farms and stuff like that.
Huh.
Being used and abused.
Yeah.
Right.
The question I had before just came back to my mind. And I'm pretty sure I don't even have to ask this, but I will just for formalities. Are you? I would imagine you are not going to be accepting any corporate donations. Is that correct?
Absolutely not. I'm not going to accept any corporate money, any PAC money, any special interest or lobby money.
Right on.
Cool. Awesome. What about unions?
I wanted to get that out on the record.
Would you take money from unions?
I've signed a lot of pledges saying that I will not, and I'll continue to do it and live up to it.
Cool.
Awesome.
Cool. All right. Well, Brian, we are going to help you out all we can. Whatever little we can do. We'll try to get some campaign people up from you. Like we said, throw some likes your way towards the Facebook. That's what I do, is I just do the social media. I mean, that's what I can do from here for you. I can't knock doors, but I can help you find people to knock doors.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Try to do that. Share your fundraiser around.
As you're brainstorming, if you can, think of any other way that, Adam and I can help. You have his contact info, I imagine. I am assuming. So just let us know, because that's what we're here for. We're trying to, just help promote, the alternative, grassroots movement, candidates and progressive candidates. And that's kind of what we're trying to do here. So please let us know how we can help you.
All right. That sounds great.
All right. Thank you for coming on. Thank you for running. Round 2. You did really good last year. You can do this, Brian. I've got faith. Right. Yeah. Keep up the good work.
Yes. Thank you so much.
And everybody, this is Sunday morning, TCSN Live. Thanks for tuning in. Erica Graham, Adam Prine. Medicare for All Monday might be tomorrow. Sorry about last week. We'll see how that goes. Stay strong. Bottom up, baby.
Peace out, folks.